Very clean, clinical stroke there as they approach our commentary position here. Just hear the noise from the support and in the boat. Adrenaline fueled, all you adrenaline junkies out there, get yourself into rowing, get yourself into an 8. This is what it's all about.
Yeah, that's just a length lead now. And that's they'll be wanting to stick that. And hear the Irish accents of the coaches just gone past. Thing is, I don't know, Ed, if you coach or not, it's worthless shouting because you can't hear when you're in the boat. You can't hear a thing.
You definitely can't. No, I think it's almost for the coach on the bank.
It's completely for the coach.
It's definitely for the coach. They just, they know they can't hear them, but they've just got to add that bit of support. What the crews will be able to hear, however, as they enter the regatta enclosure, is that absolutely immense wall of sound that the supporters down here at Henley Women's Regatta are creating. Whether it be for their crew or not, the cheers from the bank ring out over the waters, just propelling those crews on to the finish line down by the Friends enclosure.
But well done Enniskillen for getting it into the final here, because they would have had to have got through some pretty serious competition to get there. With all of those British schools and clubs, Henley and Headington, they'd have been looking at this race and thinking, is this the race we actually want to be in? Into the fours and so Enniskillen to get into the final have done extremely well.
And Enniskillen not letting go of their opposition from the US St Paul's, not quite being able to catch them, but determined, like we said a moment ago, just leave everything out on the course. When they come in, they can sit down tonight and just think, we did everything we could, and use that as motivation for next season to try and come back stronger, faster and better.
A good boat speed, you get an idea of how quickly that boat is going through the water. They're coming towards, we can see the drone shot there. They've got about another 80 metres to go to the finish. The finish is just past the Remnham Club, if you know this stretch of the Thames.
I think bar a catastrophic disaster, this will be a win for crew 460, St Paul's School, the USA.
So some silverware, Ed, then is going over.
Quite a lot, judging by what we've seen over the last few races. Fantastic stuff for the US crews to be able to come out here, test their mettle against some of the best crews we have to offer in the UK, and take home the win. It all sets a very, very exciting picture for the future of rowing, not only here but around the world, especially.
Just coming to the finish there. This is for the Peabody Cup, and it looks as though the Peabody Cup is going overseas.
They are just going through the finish line now. Last few strokes, and more of a smile from the St Paul's crew than we saw from our last quad. There we are. Fantastic stuff from that crew, leading from the start. Great race though.
Well,
great
USA
race.
have done well because, well done St Paul's, but equally well done Enniskillen. It was Green Lake from the USA who won it last year, so the Peabody Cup is, having been brought over the pond, is probably going back over to the pond, but all credit to Enniskillen. Well done you guys. Now on our screens there you see the latest final, which is another junior final. It's a junior single sculls final, and on the near side we've got Glasgow Academy, Buchanan, and then Warrington Stanhope. And Warrington, Ed, I don't know if you know much about the club, but they produced some fantastic scullers recently. Lucy Glover, currently rowing for the GB, who came out of Warrington, dominated junior sculling for some time.
I think that's what we're seeing now a lot more on the UK rowing circuit, especially from the junior clubs. It's not just those big 3 or 4 that are producing the athletes that go on to represent their country later in life. We have a really diverse mix of athletes from all walks of life all over the country, which just makes, as we saw in that Development 8 earlier, for really diverse crews that, when coached correctly, can really put down the power. So just seeing the drone shot here as these two scullers for the junior single sculls final come up to the quarter mile marker.
And it is the Glasgow Academy sculler who has got, what, about a 2-length lead here. Anna Buchanan over the Warrington sculler. And they are racing for a very, very important trophy. This is the Di Ellis Trophy. Di Ellis, sadly no longer with us, but just one of the mainstays of British rowing for many, many years. And it's just wonderful that this trophy is named for her.
So as they come past our little commentary caravan here, it certainly is Buchanan from Glasgow Academy that just has the edge over Stanhope from Warrington Rowing Club. It's important to remember that especially in these small lightweight craft, the speed can change at the flick of a switch. But unless Stanhope was to make a significant move in the next few hundred metres, I think this could be a win for Buchanan of Glasgow Academy.
We said all weekend there's some great rowing athletes coming out of Scotland at the moment. Glasgow Academy, a nursery of rowing talent actually. Then go on to Glasgow schools. We've got St Andrews University now coming up in the world of rowing. Edinburgh spending a lot of money now on their rowing programme. Strathclyde as well. So expect to see Scottish clubs coming down a lot more and taking home the silverware. But at the moment it looks like this is going over the northern border.
We seem to be losing a lot of our silverware this year, Greg, so far from Henley going all over the world. Fantastic to see just how much of a uniting sport rowing has become in the 21st century.
It looks like Buchanan there is using a George Watson's college boat. George Watson's in Edinburgh. So again, collaboration. And we've got a Scottish commentator just about to take over. He'll be delighted. Well, he can't be English with a name like Fergus, that's for sure.
Just see there the sculler from Warrington Rowing Club, Stanhope, still, as we've seen through every final this afternoon, determined to leave it all out on the track, just trying to claw back inch by inch, just to try and minimise that margin of defeat that she will likely experience as they cross the line in a few moments.
A great power there, great shot of Buchanan, really powerful sculler. The purist coaches won't be liking the fact that the head's moving quite so much, but honestly, does it matter when the boat's moving that quickly?
I think as we've said over and over again, you can strategise, perfect technique all you like, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that you cross that line first ahead of your opponent, and looks like Buchanan of Glasgow Academy will be fulfilling that dream here at Henley Women's Regatta.
And we're just going to swap seats now with our learned colleagues to take you through the rest of today's finals.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are at crunch time here at Henley Women's Regatta. My name is Warren Muggles. I'm joined by Fergus Mayland. We are here to guide you through the remaining finals of this. What's been an incredible Henley Women's Regatta 2019. On the course now, we are seeing the Aspirational Academic Coxless Forwards for the Cathy Cruikshank Trophy. And on the left of your picture, on the Berkshire side, you're seeing Glasgow. And on the right of your picture, on the Buckinghamshire side, we're seeing KSRV Njord. And Fergus, how have you been on the launches today? How are you doing?
Do you know what? It's been a fantastic third day of Henley Women so far. We've had some excellent semi-finals, and as we move through the finals this afternoon, we can expect even more fantastic racing as the day goes on. But yes, we are riding with the Aspirational Academic Coxless Fours, and a crew just coming past us now is the Dutch crew, leading but only by a matter of inches.
It's
over
only
the
a
Scots
canvas.
from Glasgow University.
Absolutely astonishing stuff in this early stages. It is. Well, you have to argue that the Njord side from the holiday are just about ahead. A little bit of a twitch there from Glasgow as they were coming through. Might have cost them a bit of half a length or so. They're still staying in touch though. Rate is staying high. And they are coming up to the regatta enclosure now.
Over Glasgow University as they come past the regatta enclosure. As KSRV Njord not had an easy way through to the finals today. They've beaten Tulsa, Bristol University, British favourites, and Pro College London. Yes, passing the regatta enclosure, moving on up to the coach racks. It is the Dutch crew just pushing up to a length over the Scots from Glasgow University.
Interesting you say that, folks, about the course. It's how similar their progress has been. Both had an easily verdicts in the heats. Quarter-final, Glasgow won by half length, then a length in the semi-final, as with KSV Njord, 3.5 lengths in the quarters, then half in the semi. They've had kind of similar kind of challenges to deal with. But that's what happens when you're at the top of the game, as these guys are in the Aspirational fours. Still, you're just stretching their lead out a little bit, going to about 3/4 length. But Glasgow still there within sight, within mind, within concern for the Njord side. Could pull out a move anytime soon. As they coming through, going past the regatta enclosure now, going towards Upper Thames, the final third. We'll see how they manage this. They're keeping the rate down, keeping it nice and consistent, keeping the reach, keeping the unity all together. We'll see what rate they're doing now. Going at about a 35. I mean, wow, look at Glasgow go there. Goodness me, that rate's gone right up. It's gone up to 40 strokes a minute here. This is going to be a really cracking finish to this race. You can see though, it's the rower from Njord, Femke van Veen, looking over to the side as she's seen the move and she's going to get her crew to respond. But have they got enough time? Goodness me, well,
yes,
having
coming
a look at the
into
pictures,
the last few hundred metres of this, Glasgow have sensed now's the time that they've got to move if they want to mount a charge in this, the final of the Aspirational Academic Coxless Fours. And yes, it is just a few hundred metres to go.
Oh, perfect timing there from the cameraman. Wow, what a time they're going to have a photo bomb from a cameraman. But it is Njord still leading the way here. The rate is still up now. They're charging through as they come through. Only about 20 strokes now. You know, you've got to give everything at this point. There's trophies on the line on Sunday at Henley Women's Regatta, but they have responded by the looks of it. This is the camera you're seeing here is right on the finish line. We will get a lock off. Just seeing the other final start there for the Aspirational Club 8s. For the Copas Cup, sponsored by the Copas Foundation. And that's a great start there. But we're coming back to the finish. It is nice and solid there from Njord. Really lengthened out of the finish. Very strong in the finish. Absolutely gutted for the Glasgow stroke woman, which is Emma Pearson. Absolutely gutting for them. But absolute elation for KSRV Njord.
And we continue with the finals this Sunday of Henley Women's Regatta 2019. Race 378 is the Academic Club 8, Thames Rowing Club, City of Bristol. Thames are on the Berkshire station, City of Bristol are on the Buckinghamshire station, and it's Thames that have the lead at the moment.
Yes, it's a very familiar sight, that seeing Thames Rowing Club in an 8 out in front on this Henley Rowing Club course. And as they come past us at the commentary caravan, it looks to be a length they have over the City of Bristol crew over on the Buckinghamshire station. Thames, of course, having a fantastic Henley Women's Regatta so far. 43 rowers they've had racing this year. And this 8's had an excellent domestic season, winning the Challenge 8s at Wallingford Regatta earlier this year, and they're continuing that fine form here in this final of the Club 8s.
Aspirational doubles, Sculls, then development 4s, championship singles, championship 4s, all to come, as the drone shows the overhead shot there of Thames Rowing Club leading by just over a length.
Yes, that very much looks like a Thames crew on a mission. They only have one thing on their mind, and that is winning this race against City of Bristol. First round, City of Bristol beat their club mates. They moved on and then beat the Rowing Club of Hackney before they dismantled Agecroft in their semi-final. It looks like they've met their match here as we move towards the regatta enclosures and on towards Upper Thames. It is Thames Rowing Club, the famous black kit, leading this final of the Club 8s.
Very good crowd here. Not as hot today as the previous 2 days this regatta, and the wind just beginning to blow a little bit. You can see the trees. If anything, it's cross tail, which clearly is going to help the times. I think a few records already gone this afternoon.
Yes, definitely a relief for some of us commentating on the back of the launches to see that sun just poke away behind the clouds. But these rowers will be very grateful for it. The tailwind just helping them down the course. And at the moment it is still Thames Rowing Club looking very comfortable. Really picking it up at that front end, and they continue to lead City of Bristol, who trail by just over a length.
Closing stages of this, then the final of the Aspirational Club 8, Thames Rowing Club A, moving down now towards the Chairman's enclosure and the finish line. Still working very hard, and you can see that the next final is underway. This is the Academic Double Sculls, Twickenham and the Leicester Rowing Club Shiplake College combination.
Yes, this is a remarkable young double scull from Leicester Rowing Club and Shiplake. Both of these young athletes have plenty of Great Britain experience under their belts, racing at the likes of the World Championships, the European Junior Championships, as well as Munich Regatta. Most recently, though, at the national schools, they placed 2nd and 3rd respectively in the championship singles. So there's a great rivalry between the two of them, and clearly combining their talents here and putting together quite a piece already in this final of the Academic Double Sculls.
And the scullers on the Berkshire station getting dangerously close to the booms there for a moment as they approach us in the commentary tower. It's a very comfortable lead from the double scull as Greg Davis, headmaster of Shiplake, cycles past, encouraging his Shiplake sculler and her partner and they lead now by some 2.5 lengths.
Yes, these Leicester and Shiplake scullers, two of the finest single scullers in the country. They both actually broke the course record for the single at National Schools earlier on this year. So it's quite a display of sculling they're putting on for the crowds here at Henley Women's Regatta on finals day. And we're now just coming up to the regatta enclosure, and it is that Shiplake Leicester double with a 2-length lead, 2 and a bit length lead over Twickenham Rowing Club.
So we reckon there's 5 records been broken this afternoon. A bit to do with the conditions and obviously the competition here in these finals. Absolutely excellent. There's been some superb racing over the last 3 days, and you know, the event getting bigger and stronger, and obviously wouldn't run without the help of the volunteers, whom there have been plenty this weekend, and a huge thanks to everybody that's contributed to what's been a wonderful 3 days of racing. Climaxing now with the finals, and on the stake boats ready to go we have the development Cox 4s, Dundee University are up against Tideway Sculls School. That race underway shortly, and we see the smile there on the stroke from Shiplake.
Yes, it's easy to smile when you're sitting a few lengths of clear water up on your opposition, coming down the famous white boomed course. Must be a fantastic feeling, but one that I can relate to, leading on the Henley course.
And still trying to chase them down, it's Twickenham. We're coming into the closing stages, and what looks like a victory here for a very impressive crew, as you say, from the Leicester and Shiplake composite. We were talking about the records that have been broken this afternoon, and tell me about it. Give us an update.
Yeah, sure. So we've got quite a few. The championship pair was 5 minutes 26, now 5 minute 24 by Leander. That's very strong from them. The championship lightweight pair was 5 minutes 35, now 5 minutes 30, which was by, as soon as I scroll to it, Tideway Sculls School. The aspirational academic 4s was 5 minutes 7, now 5 minutes 4, but we are going to have an update.
Yeah, just down at the start then, this is the development Cox 4s, Dundee University and Tideway Scullers, as they go off the start, and both crews putting in a huge effort just to try and get their bows in front psychologically at the top of the island. And it's probably advantage Scullers at the moment. You just about see their blades dipping in ahead of Dundee, and indeed the aerial shot confirms that, so it's a quarter of a length at the moment to Tideway Scullers School.
Well, we were just saying, yeah, just before, how important it is at the start. I'll just read those final 2 records for everybody there. The other one was the aspirational lightweight single scull by University of Surrey, which was 6 minutes 2, now 5 minutes 58, broke the 6 minute barrier. And finally the Junior 16 4, Cox 4, which was nabbed by Marlowe, was 5 minutes 29, 5 minutes 27, but Tideway Scullers right now going for their own record, I think, in this event for the development force for the Frank v Harry Cup, sponsored by Tim and Sarah Lohman, and they are really striding out here at this early stage, keeping the rate high though. They could see they're under pressure from Dundee. Did well. They went close against Edinburgh in the quarter-final, only half a length, so they know all about these tight-knit races, so this one's far from over.
Yeah, and as they're coming down towards us, you can see that Dundee having a bit of a push, and the overhead shot showing Tideway Scullers still have a lead, but as they pass us, it's not huge. It's probably, what, a quarter of a length at best?
I think so. Might even be coming to a canvas now. They are just starting to put the pressure on Dundee at this point. I mean, having a look at the rate there, it's going to be, well, it's going to be tight, isn't it? It's going to be about, well, it's 34 according to this, and they are putting the pressure on Tideway. They've been very successful today. 37 on then, so higher rate, but maybe that extra bit of reach, extra bit of composure, maybe at the catch and finish, might just see Dundee through off into this middle third.
Yeah, it looks like Scullers there have gone for a push just to try and give themselves a little bit more comfort, but they are under pressure. Dundee are not prepared to let them go. Dundee respond.
I think they have. I think looking at this angle, I mean, whether it's now still a quarter, it might just be going to a half. But Tideway has certainly stretched out. I mean, this is a crew that's came fourth against earlier this year. One crew change in there, so not too much to have to handle for them. But as we say, a bit of a challenge getting to this point. But there you are. You can see how near Dundee are. Beat Agecrofts in the semi-final, who were really on a hot streak before they came here. But they are putting the power down, Dundee, just holding that nice room. Of course, remember this is Development 4, so some of these girls maybe not even rowing more than a year or so. But they are doing superbly well so far.
Yep, they're hanging in there and keeping that pressure on. Tideway Scullers probably just rating a bit higher here, Dundee. So, can they get back on level terms as they're heading now down past the halfway point through the boating enclosures? Plenty of noise, plenty of support there, and huge cheers go up because this is a very, very tight race.
It is actually. I think I've realised we don't get a sense of the crowds that are actually down at the Regatta enclosure on here, but they're really cheering the girls on there. You can hear them. It's just such a big noise. It's when you get to that middle point, it really motivates you to keep going into that final third, because you come in then to Upper Thames and the Remenham, which is the last 30 or so strokes of the race, and you need every bit of motivation you can, especially in this point. We talked before, coming into the final third, still an overlap, can still talk about even cat and mouse tactics here. Who's going to make the move first? Who's going to take that rate up and go for a burst? Will it be Tideway try and push away, or will Dundee try and row through them? I mean, at this point they are tugging away at the oars. You've got to give everything to get on level terms now with Tideway.
Yeah, and here we come now into the closing stages. The Coxes encouraging them just to put in that last bit of effort. Now it's beginning to really hurt. Remember, they've had 3 days of racing. This is their final, and it's Scullers still just about kept themselves in front, but they haven't had it all their own way. And now Dundee having one last push.
Well, they really are. It's going to be very close up here. I think they're both about 37 as they were coming through to the finish line. You can see everything going forward, reaching out for the straws that are on the side for their catch. Just sprinting away and doing as much as they can. But it looks like they might have just done up. We'll hopefully get a camera shot as they come up to the finish line. But no, looks like Tideway might have just got that one.
Tideway have got that on the line.
Great finish. And as we head down to the other side, this is the next final has started.
And it is the Championship Singles Sculls Nottingham Rowing Club A Campbell Ord and Molesey Boat Club E Loic. Is that pronounced?
Which one is that? Moseley? Elo Lewick, I believe. Yes. And it is Annie Campbell Ord on the near side that you see here, striding out, and then we're coming past us soon. I've just gone past Temple Island. You can see it's just there in that booth at the top of the picture. As you can see, it's already might even be getting to some clear water for the Molesey Sculler Elo Lewick. That's a great start for her.
Yeah, she's trying to get clear water here. Again, just psychologically, if she can just break away at this stage, then can control the race. But the pressure's on.
The other, it's an amazing thing. The pressure can always be on because this is the unique thing about Henley women, Henley Royal. It's just side by side. There's no hiding here. So if you do something wrong, then that's it. It's just you. It's not like multi-lane where there's others around. You can finish 5th or 6th. You either win it or you don't. That's it here. And as they go past us, I think there's about 3/4 of a length lead for Elo Luke of Molesey. Nottingham's Annie Campbell just trying to hold on to her coattails there. 2 experienced Sculls. Nottingham's Annie Campbell, 2nd in the challenge singles at Wallingford, 5th on the Saturday and 2nd on the Sunday at Met, so improving there. And Molesey's Luick, 5th in the double and 2nd in the single at Ghent earlier this year. So lots of prowess, as there is with all of these finals here at Henley Women's Regatta.
And we can hear the noise. Big support for both of the scullers as they head up now through the public enclosures. Huge crowd there. Everybody looking towards the river, which is always nice to see. Plenty of support. And they're both responding. But still that lead, still just about a length as they head away from the enclosures.
I have some more records actually for you, Martin. If
Off we go then.
There we are. So we've got in the last 2 races the Aspirational double Sculls, which the composite of Leicester and Shiplake won, 4.5 minutes. That was time of 5 minutes 18, which actually smashed the last record of 5 minutes 27. So massive congratulations to them. And in the development 4s, which we just saw, it won by half a length by Tyway Scullets over Dundee, 5 minutes 23, and that beats the 5:29 set last year by Agecroft.
So records tumbling here at Henley Women's Regatta 2019. Could this be another one? The sculler from Molesey Boat Club powering away now down towards the finish.
So a really long rhythm there. Amazing to see. Rowing all the way back with the backs and all the way forward for the cat. Getting as much time in the water as possible. So it means that her opportunity to accelerate the boat and keep it at its maximum speed is at its greatest. And that's what she's doing here. That's why she's just been edging out, I think it has been, since Temple Iron, just edging that lead out by just adding maybe a couple of inches. But as you add those inches up every stroke, it becomes a length or 2. But at this point, might still be a length still. We cannot count out the Nottingham Sculler, who's putting everything in here. She's doing really well at the moment to stay in touch. Nottingham's Annie Campbell knows how to manage this race, keeping those rates high. Both scullers, both lots of experience. Both racing about 38 or so, so lots of intensity going on. As controlled as it looks, they are really going hammer and tong at this. As they come up to the finish line now, still not much in it between these two crews, between these two scullers. Molesey, Elo Luick on that left of your picture, and on the right, Nottingham, Annie Campbell just coming through. They know this is it. This is all for the George Innes Cup. It's silverware now. It's a Sunday afternoon, and that's what everything counts. Big strokes going in. Looks like the rate might have gone up there from Elo Luick. Just see what rate she's at as she comes in to that final bit. The rates just strokes just shortened a bit, probably about 34. Cup increasing that though, so about 38 there she knows as she's going over. She wants to push away the Nottingham Sculler Annie Campbell, and that's exactly what she's doing here. And she's probably going to go. She's going to go over as they come past our position, the position of the camera on the finish line. Looks over. Whether that's a smile or not, I'm not sure, but it's certainly a moment of relief. There it goes, all the relief there. Great moment for Elo Luick as she wins the championship single sculls for the George Innes Cup.
And the next final underway now, the championship Coxless 4s, London University and Edinburgh University. London are on the near side, on the Berkshire station, Edinburgh University on the far side, and it looks like a very early lead for London from the overhead shot. The drone just freezing there for a second, but
yeah, it's a cracking start from the University of London crew. They had a little bit of a mishap in their forward in those first couple of strokes, just catching their blade there, but they've recovered. They're looking long, and they are leading Edinburgh University in this, the final of the Championship Coxless Fours.
Yeah, here we are, the Championship Coxless Fours, coming towards our commentary position now, and it is London with a lead of just about a length. Over Edinburgh.
Yes, and they're just coming past our commentary position now. And it just looks like University of London have just broken that intangible elastic, that all-important clear water, just separating those two crews. And that's a definitive move there from the University of London as they just move past the barrier on towards the enclosure. But of course, this Edinburgh Four, stacked with pedigree. The stern and bow, India Summerside, Alex Rankin, both formerly of Glasgow Academy, it's the Glasgow Schools Rowing Association. I've been to multiple world championships between them. But here they find themselves down on University of London, so they're going to have to draw on all that experience they have to claw themselves back into this race if they have any hopes of contending for the Avril Velicott Cup.
Some very solid rowing from Edinburgh there. Maybe this was the game plan. Maybe they thought we don't have the fastest start in this planet. Then maybe we'll have the strength and the power.
It's University of London there, striking 37, still leading Edinburgh University. They're just seeing a little bit higher, 38, 39 strokes a minute from them. They're already starting to mount their charge coming into the second half of this race. Yeah, they're going to have to move now. They're going to have to start going through those gears. So the University of London are still holding on to that very comfortable lead that they have.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Thames Rowing Club.
A bit more river traffic today to contend with, which does make the course just a little bit wobbly. And probably one of the first days we've had where the cruisers can get out, and there are plenty of them out this morning, and it does pose a bit of a challenge, but here we are in the finals, the most experienced crews racing here to become a winner of Henley Women's Regatta.
Yeah, University of London there just starting to react from the move from Edinburgh over on the Buckinghamshire station. They're now up at 39, 40 strokes a minute. They're sprinting for this line. They've led the whole way down the course, and it's been a fantastic piece that they've put together. So they're going to do everything they can coming into these last few hundred metres to make sure Edinburgh don't claw themselves back into this. It's a very deceptive camera angle we have here as we come up to the finish. Luke's going across from Flora Brake Parsons there in the 2-seat. They're going to hope that line comes nice and quickly. Edinburgh still going up. Yes, Edinburgh now up over 40. They're hitting 42, 43 strokes a minute as they come through the line. And what a final few hundred metres there from Edinburgh University. Delighted to have rode through the University of London. Absolutely ecstatic scenes there.
That was a very, very big finish. So, you know, it's never over, is it? 1,500 metres here, and down at the start we have the next race, which is the Aspirational Quadruple Sculls for the Chairman's Trophy. Nearest to us, it's the Nottingham Strathclyde Park Composite, and they're up against Reading University, Reading on the far side. We followed these races earlier on the water. Nottingham Strathclyde put in a stunning performance in their semi-final. They're up against Reading, and Reading very, very strong in their semi. And here we are now meeting in the final, and just looks effortless, doesn't it? But I can assure you it's not, as the Reading University crew heading down through the parking area, the meadows there.
Yes, Reading University now an entirely sculling based programme, so they're chucking all their efforts into the singles, the doubles and the quad. And so far in the early stages of this one, it looks to be paying dividends as they're sitting about a half a length up on the composite crew from Nottingham Rowing Club Strathclyde Park.
As they come towards us, I'm not sure it's that much. I think the composite
right,
have had a bit of a push, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're level when they pass us, and they're better than level. They're up by a canvas. So big effort from Reading off the start, and this crew from Nottingham and Strathclyde Park, they did look the real deal in the semi-final, and Reading got off to a cracking start, but the composite have kept it together and have just gradually moved through, and they now lead by half a length.
Yeah, despite the slightly slower start there from the composite crew, they really have found their mid-race rhythm as we come past the Regatta enclosure. Yeah, looking very strong there as we pass the crowds of supporters there on the bank. And I must say, that looks a very comfortable rhythm that they're sitting in.
Well, they did it in the semi and were very impressive. And now at the halfway point in this, the final, they have moved out now to a length.
Yeah, the composite crew at Strathclyde Park Nottingham Rowing Club, made up of athletes who have come out of the Great Britain START programme, so the talent ID scheme set up to find the Olympians of the future. And it's been a great quad that's been put together here, currently leading the mighty Reading University, going past the boating racks onwards to Upper Thames Rowing Club. Yeah, the Great Britain START programme doing a lot of good work, bringing people into rowing who may not have considered it. Yeah, giving light to a new sport to them and showing them all the benefits rowing has.
Yeah, very, very neat and tidy, and a real good example of sculling there at the highest level. So they've gone through their opponents, Reading University, and now they are heading down towards the finish. But it's never over, as we saw in the last race. A really good spurt from the guys that were second most of the way down the track. The next race, the junior doubles, is underway. Sir William Perkins School and South Jersey from the United States of America. South Jersey are on the right hand side of your screens on the Buckinghamshire station, and it's Sir William Perkins School on the left hand side. And as they appear just beyond that tree, it is the Brits. It's Sir William Perkins that have a lead there of half a length. And at the top of the screen, crossing the line in the final there of the Aspirational Quadruple Sculls,